My shop is always evolving, moving things around so it's more efficient and more fun out here. Right now, it's a giant mess. So while I'm cleaning it, I'm actually going to redo some of these stations to make it a little better for me. Let me show you what I mean. Behind the table saw, there's this workbench right here. It's a little bit too high and a little bit too deep. So I'm gonna remove everything from those cabinets, take all the tools off, finish up the top, and kind of get everything into the right place. That is stage one. Stage two is this workbench. I built this a long time ago and it's worked really wonderfully, but now I need something more mobile. So that is gonna be stage two. Now behind stage one and two, there's this pegboard. I really don't want pegboard, but that's what I've got. I bought it with the house. So I'm gonna keep it and deal with that as it is. This is stage three. There's this giant mess over here in the corner and this old desk that I used to use when I was fully remote, but I don't really need that anymore. So that is gonna be stage three. Stage four is my plywood. This is where all of my scraps and all my plywood goes, and it is a mess. Plus, I wanna put another little workbench right in there that I can fold up and move around as well. So that is stage four. And then behind this bandsaw are these shelves. I'm gonna ship those over, add my dust collection in there, and that is stage five. For today's video, we're gonna focus on stage one and cleaning out and fixing up these cabinets. Let's go.
The first thing I have to do is clean off all the clutter and the junk that's accumulated on the surface and in the cabinets. Then I have to remove all the scrap pieces that I lazily put in place to stabilize the workbench and to keep stuff from falling in between the crack.
All right, so I know it's not up to code, but this is what runs my drill press and my belt sander. So I have this on the side so I can easily access the on and off, and it just kind of ties into the wall. But everything runs back behind the benches, so I'm gonna need to take this off before I can really get into removing this cabinet.
This lathe is probably 100 years old. It runs fine, but it's an awkward height, hence the lowering of the whole cabinet. And it just gets in the way because I don't use it often. I'll need to find another solution for storing this, yet making it easy to set up when I want to use it.
All right, so we've got everything out of the cabinets and off of the top, but we still have this 5 or 6 inch lift here along the bottom that we need to get rid of. It's really just too tall to work on. And if I'm gonna put my lathe on it, I can't really do that easily. So we need to pull this out from the wall, clean out from behind it, and make sure that we can get access to those screws that are holding that in place.
There are just a few small brackets holding this cabinet into place that we'll need to remove. And since it's actually 2 cabinets, I'm clamping them together and putting some fasteners in there just to keep them a little sturdier.
So right now, this thing is just way too deep. It is almost 30 inches, 29 and a half. And what I want to do is get everything to about 24 inches all the way across the side here. So that way I'm not having these big pieces kind of jutting out. It'll make my shop a little bit more controlled there. So I'm gonna cut this down on the back side. I'll just leave it in place and get a straight edge and get to it.
But what I'm doing here is actually making the level my fence. I'm just measuring directly from the saw rather than using a ruler. Then using a square just to double check it.
So I rerouted the surge protector that was on the side over here to go through this hole. And I was planning on having it mounted to the front like this. But as I'm thinking about this, I always have my belt sander and my drill press plugged into it. And so those plugs would be sticking out pretty far. I don't really want that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna mount this to the inside of the cabinet in here. And I'll either have it on the side or the top, I'm not sure. But what that means is I'm gonna need to cut holes in the back of the top, really more notches, so those wires can run down there. I doubt that I will be plugging anything else into it, but in case I do have a hole here. I do have other access points that I can get to this surge protector if I need to.
When I've got my tools where I like them, I'm gonna mark and drill out some holes just to run those power cables down to get them a little bit more out of the way.
I procrastinated redoing my shop for a long time because it's been such a big project. So by breaking it out in these phases, I can knock things out in just an hour or two and make things a lot better. This drill press being over here instead of on that workbench is gonna be really big, a lot more room to do things.
So many activities! You like guacamole?
On my normal workbench. So I like the new height of this. I'm looking forward to using it a lot. That's it for today's video. If you liked it and if you thought something was valuable here, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for phase 2.